Hey, I'm Beck from Cats Live Here and Studio Beck. And for the first time ever today, I'm going to do a Wednesday. What? I know it sounds a bit ridiculous, but I've been wanting to do it for ages just to bring you guys some extra information about some of the plants or other bits and pieces that might be going on that might be of interest to you guys. Now, what I wanted to speak about today was the Philodendron Brasil. There's been a lot of hoo-ha, I suppose you could say, going on about them. Everyone's loving them at the moment, and rightly so. They are a beautiful plant, but some people are getting a bit confused between a few of the other plants that are available. First plant that I want to speak about is the Hartley Philodendron. This philodendron right here has these beautiful heart-shaped leaves. They're kind of a bit of a matte green more than a glossy green, I think, but they're a beautiful trailing plant. You can grow them up things or let them cascade over things, and overall they're just beautiful. Then also I want to bring you over here to, this is a gold-coloured Hartley Philodendron. These guys again have these beautiful heart-shaped leaves. They are again a bit matte in appearance as opposed to glossy. And as you can see, sometimes they can get this variation in them, which just makes people start to think, oh, hold on a second, is this a Brazil? It's not. It's just throwing a bit of, I guess, a bit of old genetics back into the mix, and just reverting a little bit back to the dark green as opposed to the gold color that you see everywhere else, which is sometimes called a neon as well. But it is just a variegation in this regard. It is not a Brazil. So take note of the leaf shape. It's quite rounded and fat at the top, and then it comes down to this beautiful point. Same goes with the Hartley Philodendron over here, the traditional one. It's quite fat up the top, and then it gets quite narrow. Now, I'm going to show you as well another plant that sometimes gets confused with the Brazil. This is the Neon Pothos, or the Neon or Goldilocks Devil's Ivy. It's also that beautiful golden color, or the neon color that I showed you just a moment ago in the golden Hartley Philodendron. The leaves are narrower and long. They've still got the heart shape, but they are narrower. And I think that's also sometimes where the confusion between that and the Brazil comes from. Now, I'll show you a Brazil, if my cat gets out of the way. This over here is a Brazil. So the Brazil has both colors. We have the dark green and also the light green. We have that beautiful heart leaf shape similar to the Hartley Philodendron, but it's longer. It's more elongated, which is much more like the Devil's Ivy. Now, some people lately have been getting some of these Goldilocks Devil's Ivies coming in from the shops with some variegation on them, with little strikes of a dark green and things, and people have been getting quite excited. But there's one huge difference between a Devil's Ivy and a philodendron. So a philodendron will grow a long stem between the last leaf, grows this long stem, and then the leaf comes out of the stem itself further along the line. It doesn't actually produce straight out of the leaf. So again, we can come over here to this traditional Hartley Philodendron. You can see it's got a new leaf down here, and then it's got this nice long stem, and then at the end here, it's got this new leaf forming. Well, here's the trick. Devil's Ivy don't. So a pothos actually produces its next leaf from within the stem, if we can get it to focus, from within the stem of the old leaf. So it develops this leaf with this little root node down here, and then from that root node section, the next leaf starts to form. And once that leaf is formed, then the stem follows along behind it. So that's the main difference, in my opinion, between the Devil's Ivy and the Hartley Philodendrons. Now, I will just remind you all, I am not a trained horticulturalist, so forgive me if any of this information seems to be misinformation, but as someone who doesn't know a lot in that regard, I've found these to be really good things that I can stand by. So they're your two main differences. So again, when you come back over to the Philodendron Brasil, it's doing the sort of thing that it should be displaying. So it's got here this little bit of stem that's producing, and then it's got a new leaf coming up just down there. All right, so that's how you can tell the difference between a philodendron and a pothos, but more importantly, between a proper Brazil that people are paying good money for at the moment versus an imposter. Okay, so either one of the golden Hartley Philodendrons or otherwise one of the Neon Pothos or Neon or Goldilocks Devil's Ivies, which sometimes do have throwbacks in them. There you go, my first ever Wednesday what? I really hope that that's been beneficial to you guys in determining the difference between these really beautiful plants. The fact is, at the moment, the Philodendron Brasil isn't as easily accessible as the other plants, and so they're worth a lot of money by comparison. I do hear rumors that over time they're going to be much cheaper, but at the moment, for the plant connoisseur or collector, they are paying a lot more for those plants. So make sure that you don't get tricked into buying one of the gold colored Hartley Philodendrons or one of the Neon Pothos by accident. And that's it from me here at Cats Live Here, and from Oreo. Bye!